This video was sponsored by PowerCircle Clothing and Headbusters Food Company in association with Cook Up Unlimited.
Cook up!
It's not a podcast.
Yo, Dennis here, back with another episode of This Is Not a Podcast. Y'all already know what the lick read. Before we go any further, make sure y'all like and subscribe and hit that notification button. You know, everything is greatly appreciated. So today's episode definitely sponsored by the good folks at Headbusters Food Company. Make sure y'all go to www.powercircle.biz and get yourself some of that Headbusters all-purpose knockout seasoning. It will bless you. You already know what's up. For those of you that got it, it's doing really well so far. It's officially online. You can get that, and it's on sale right now for 10 bucks. Today's episode is definitely a cool one, so we're gonna do what I like to call tales from the stew. I was thinking about a lot of different tales. Like when I get around people, we always like to share war stories about our experiences in the studio. We got some crazy stories, man. I got stories for days when it comes to things in the studio, like some of the things I've seen. I got a couple memorable stories that ever happened in the studio, and I'm gonna start. I'm not gonna put the man's name on blast or anything like that. I hope you don't get mad about it, but this was probably the most bizarre client I ever had to ever book studio time in the studio ever of all time at the top, right? So back in Chicago, I used to have a studio on the south side, and we had a few interesting people that used to come through the studio sometimes. So a friend of mine referred this particular client to come to my studio to record. Now at the time, now this cat was a boxer. He was some cat. He was like a Golden Gloves boxer or something like that. You know, just like most people on the side, you know, a lot of people like to do music or inspired to do music. So a good friend of mine referred, you know, he's an e-box as well. He referred this guy to come to my studio. So we linked up. He set up some studio time, came through. He was cool, you know what I mean? When he came through, we was getting ready to get right to it. I'm like, where the music at? So we played the music. He's like, man, you know, let it play. He wanted to hear it on the loudspeaker. You know, he getting excited by the camaraderie of the studio and the ambiance as well. And so he haven't rapped yet, so I haven't heard him nothing like that, but he was like real particular, real, like, not to say demanding, but you could tell like he was like overly aggressive. I don't think he really could tell the difference between being in the studio or being in a boxing ring, or maybe, you know, a couple shots to the head, you know, make a brother go crazy. I mean, CTE is real, you know what I mean? Not to even try to joke about it, but so anyway, he didn't rap right away, so he had whipped out the book bag. He had like these. He had a notebook. It looked so old. It looked like it was written in Hebrew. It was like this old. Like you could tell he probably like, he was a grown man, but it looked like he probably had this notebook since 8th grade. But it was one of them big, thick notebooks, and he had like a bunch of, you know, raps, I suppose. I never really looked through it. But so then he said finally he was ready. He gets in the booth and he starts to rap. And if I can explain, I'm gonna try to explain how to, I don't want to say the rap, I don't want to, if I can explain what came out of this brother's mouth, man, it was more like, if I can describe the sound, it was more like caveman grunts. And if DMX, imagine like if DMX, you know DMX's voice, you know, you know, real gravel voice and real raspy. Just imagine if a raspy voice dude got kicked in the nuts. And it was like high pitched, but it was raspy at the same time. And my man's, it was, I couldn't understand make out what he was saying. And then he went from doing the grunts, then he went from singing, and it was pretty interesting, to say the least. And we not gonna talk about whether it was whack or not. You can kind of let your mind wander. You know what I mean? Like the beat was distorted. Like it was like, but somehow, some way, he totally understood what he was doing right now. So it was rather bizarre. My first initial thought, maybe I thought he was on something, like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, cocaine is definitely a hell of a drug. You know, back in the day, I wasn't always on the straight and narrow. We used to deal with pharmaceuticals back in the day. I mean, I'm not proud to say it, but you know, back in the day, you know, we had to do what we had to do. And a lot of times, you know, dealing in that environment, you notice that pick up on certain behaviors. You know, like you can detect a crackhead. You kind of know what a crackhead looks like. You kind of know who has crackish behavior. Or if you know a blowhead, you know how a heroin addict acts. You know how a pill head acts. You know how somebody off the lean acts. You get what I'm trying to say. But the point is, my man was off something crazy. Like, I don't know if it was crystal meth. He wasn't on no weed or nothing like that. But my man's was mentally, he was gone. You know what I mean? Like, one minute he was there, He's talking all cool and positive and righteous, and then the next 30 seconds he flipped into I don't know if he was bipolar or what, but this was like rather bizarre. So the session, we get through the session, that was pretty brutal to say the least. That was probably the most brutal, one of the most brutal 3 hours of my life as an engineer. He leaves, but he leaves the notebook. He leaves the ancient notebook. So he gives me a call a few days later. Says he left his notebook there. He says he's gonna come pick it up. He said, cool. And so as he called to me, he's like, I mean, you ain't gonna do it, did you? You know, he talking to me crazy, like he got a problem or something. And me, I ain't really too fond of disrespect, and I don't do problems too well. I don't like conflict, and I ain't really too good with that. But nonetheless, you know, we kept it professional. I said, well, I got it put up for you. You know, I got it put up in the other office. You just, you know, whenever you come through, just give me a call, come through, pick it up. So a week goes by. Then another week goes by. Then he decides to call me out of the blue. Picks up his notebook. Then he calls me the next day. You know, talking about something with this song that he wanted to record, and he wanted to kind of perfect this particular song. And so he wanted to book some studio time. And I told him, well, I'm not available. I'm pretty booked up, and I don't think he liked that. So he gets to ranting off at me. So I told him, you know, calm down, brother. I ain't your brother. And then he was calling me all type of devils, and he just like going off on me. Turned around and then just started speaking positive and being uplifting. I'm like, what is wrong with this dude? So I called my mans. I'm like, man, what was this whack job you sent to this dude, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, this dude barking up the wrong tree. And I'm like, yo, man, I never seen this dude again. After that, it was like the weirdest thing in the world. Never seen him again. Like, he just disappeared. Like, this was like the weirdest thing in the world. You know, and I bring that brother up because I'm hoping that that brother got some help, man. I think mental health is real, man. CTE is real. You know what I'm saying? Like, depression is at an all-time high. I don't know what dude was going. I don't know if he didn't take his meds or he got punched in the head a few times, like I said, man. So this ain't no way to like rag on my mans. If you see this, my brother, you know who you are. I pray that you got some help, man, because I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. If it went left, it'd ended bad for you. That, oh my Lord. But I'm glad it didn't. And even then, I told the man, God bless you, man. He didn't even get me out my character. But he was like mad disrespectful, man. Like, and then giving me compliments at the same time. Like, he'll be disrespectful and then give me praise. So it was like kind of weird. So I didn't know how to take that. So once I realized what the situation was, I'm like, man, this brother needs to get some help, man. You know, like, he might be certified, I don't know, and the man box. So it's like, you know, you don't know where to go with that. At the end of the day, man, that was probably one of the most bizarre times in the studio. I mean, I got so many of these. So, you know, like every now and then, you know, we doing the This Is Not a Podcast, you know, these type of situations always come up. I'm gonna leave it on that note before I go, man. I gotta get back to work. Background here, I'm sitting here doing a little bit of editing, watching me a little bit of Bruce Lee on the TV over here, but I got it down just so I can give y'all a quick vlog real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get back into the swing of things. I've been getting a lot of bookings lately. Just starting to knock down my workload so I can get back into the groove of things. Yeah, so if I didn't mention it before, make sure y'all like and subscribe and hit that notification button. And definitely make sure y'all go ahead and go to our website, www.powercircle.biz, and go check out some of that Head Busters Knockout all-purpose seasoning. Get you a jar or two of that. Definitely heighten your game in the kitchen for sure. Definitely appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all for just taking the time out your day to even watch this video. And I definitely would appreciate it if you watch this video until the end, because I can definitely use that watch time. You know what I mean? And I definitely want to thank all my subscribers that stay here, everybody that's getting all the alerts and giving all the positive feedback, all the suggestions, all the emails, for those of you on Facebook, and all my peoples from Instagram. You can follow me at all social media platforms at TFE Boss. Even like if you type my name on YouTube, a lot of my stuff comes up and it will direct you to TFE TV and a few other places as well. But like I said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all know my slogan: keep God first, stay sucker free, and by all means get to the money. Peace and love, stay healthy.